Alcohol that comes back to the shelves?
No, I wouldn't. We got plenty of good alcohol here in Canada, and they've proven not to be our friends unless it's to their advantage.
I mean, I do love bourbon, don't get me wrong, but there's obviously a bad taste left in my mouth. And of course, while it was gone, explored other options, Canadian options.
The U.S. alcohol ban may have reached the end of its shelf life, but not everyone is on board with buying American. Some Canadian consumers are opting to steer clear of the South and to stay true to their new purchasing habits. The news does come as a hopeful sign for ongoing negotiations, though, as Canada tries to prevent crushing tariffs from affecting $28 billion worth of Canadian goods. So how are people on the other side of the border feeling about all this? For more on this subject, we've connected with Thomas Bard. He is the co-founder of the Bard Distillery, which sells Kentucky bourbon in Kentucky. He told us how the trade war has affected his business.
It's been a huge issue for us. We're a small distillery, and we were able to break into the Canadian market about 3 years ago. And for any small business, no matter what country you're in or what you're selling, anytime you get into a new market, you need to try to sustain that. It becomes very, very important to your bottom line. So for that to have been ripped away from us just literally overnight due to issues beyond our control and in policies and trade issues that had nothing to do with our industry, to just get caught up with it, it was very painful, and it has really been detrimental to my business, other businesses like mine, that we can't expand, we can't grow, we can't trust, where the income's coming in from. We can't hire new people. It's been quite an issue for us over the last year and a half.
So is it as simple as taking the Canadian stuff off the shelves and putting your bourbon back on? I tend to think not.
Not at all. Not at all. Matter of fact, we still look at the Canadian spirits as we all in this together. We're a very small niche industry across the world, especially when you talk about the smaller ones. So no, there's room for all of us on there, but it's not as simple as just taking Canadian off and putting us back on. Because first of all, what's the sentiment right now? If we get back on the shelf in Canada, what's the mood? We've heard a lot of the rhetoric, a lot of the talking that's been going on back and forth between our political factions. So, we need to see what that feel is, but we at least want the opportunity. We want the opportunity to get back on the shelf in Canada, especially for issues that weren't even of our making, of our doing. And we'd like to introduce ourselves again to the Canadian consumer and say, look, we're here. We enjoy your stuff. We hope you still enjoy ours. We're neighbors. We've been neighbors a long time. We always will be. It's an interesting moment we've been having for the last year and a half that we want to be over very, very soon.
And how do you get around or get past this buy Canadian sentiment, which I think has really taken hold, particularly when it comes to the booze market?
Well, one thing about the Buy Canadian, just coming from a small business standpoint, I support that sentiment. Take care of your folks at home, especially if they're small, if they're craft. But again, I still maintain that there's still room for all of us in there. We all make something different. Like with us for bourbon, we can only make bourbon in the United States and call it bourbon. So we're very proud of that. Canadian whiskey, we're proud of that. I have some on my shelves here at home. So there's room for all of us. We just want to, instead of it being a choice of patriotism or a choice of an issue between the countries, we want it to be a choice of just taste and preference.
Consumer habits, buying habits, obviously don't stay static. They change, certainly over the period of time that this trade fight has been playing out. How do you deal with that?
Well, one thing with the consumers, I still am in contact with a lot of people in Canada. We had shelf space in Alberta and British Columbia. And we still talk to a lot of the consumers that we've been in touch with, and they're sorry this is all going on. They obviously have a lot of national pride for Canada, but they do miss our stuff because they enjoyed it, because they didn't see it as an issue against Canada, not our products. We're friends, and they enjoy our spirits. So I think it's going to be just a matter of time. But that can't even start. We can't even start that healing process on the small scale until we're allowed to interact again. So to us, that's still the main focus.
I'm wondering, finally, if you have a message to either your President, Donald Trump, or our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, about the experience of having been caught in the middle of this kind of trade fight.
It's always painful when you get caught into a trade fight when your goods aren't even an issue. Tariffs exist for a reason, but ours aren't involved in those reasons. To get caught up in something like that, especially those of us like myself who are on the small scale, we're just casualties of a trade war. So no matter where it's coming from, in what direction, we are caught up in something that is not of our doing, of our making, and something that we can't do anything about. So we hope they can come to a solution very soon that helps all of us.
Mr. Bard, thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you.
Thomas Bard is the co-founder of the Bard Distillery in Kentucky.